itself. We want to enhance it, so that's what we're doing here. Let me talk a little bit about, we're going to serve this in a bowl. So make sure we got kind of a deep bowl here on the main screen, Lauren, a deep bowl like this, because we're going to actually, put some of that broth in there, and part of the beauty is kind of like eating the beef, with a pair of chopsticks or, whatever you're going to serve it with, and having a little spoon of the broth to go with it. It'd be really nice.
And you can also do it like shabu shabu style.
Yep.
If you have the means to kind of have like a family at the dinner table with a burner and you have the broth going, and it's a pretty classical kind of way to do it as well.
Yeah, we did this the other night, and really had the broth in the middle of the table. And, had taken the garnish out of it, actually added the vegetables into the broth that we're steaming now, and then did the beef at the table side. And it was just magnificent, So if you want to do it family style like that, it's kind of fun too, as Reed said. So let's see, we got our steaming our. Water. Good.
Hey, Charlie, for those that don't have a steamer, we could also like steam them in the microwave as well, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And if you want, depending on the size of the cut, we could steam them ahead of time a little bit and just finish them when you're doing the beef. So depending if you're gonna, again, if you're having guests or things like that, you might want to pre-steam those a little bit so they're almost all the way cooked, and then just bring them really to heat. But I think as we're steaming this, why don't we, Kelly, you want to talk about the second sake?
Yeah.
And really, really the difference and the nuance between the two.
Sure. What I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to the Soto really quickly. The rice that was used to make this Soto sake is a very, it's a varietal that's only used for making sake. So it's not a table rice that we're eating tonight, but it's a very floral and light and fragrant rice. It's a long name. I'm not going to screw it up, so I'm going to say it properly. Hold on. My Japanese is a little rusty. I lived in Japan 23 years ago when I was 19, so bear with me here. Goyaku Mangoku. So that's the name of the rice that's in our Soto. But when we go to our second pairing, the rice that we use here in this kuroshi is called omachi. I don't know if you don't have this. Oh, there we go. That looks nice. This rice is called omachi, and it's a lot larger grain than the rice that was used in our first pairing. And so that means there's a lot more starch on here, but it is still polished to 50%. So it's still a premium sake. But what we get from here is a little more character, a little more texture. And if you've opened it, maybe you've tasted it and you've compared it to the first sake, it's floral. I'm sorry, it's not as floral, but it is very fragrant. And it has a lot more umami than the first one, even though it's a premium, and premium sakes don't tend to have a lot of umami. There's some. And so I think this is an excellent pairing with our earthier dish tonight, the second course, because we have the root vegetables or the winter vegetables, as Chef mentioned, and the broth that we're cooking the beef in. I think it's a beautiful pairing like that because it has a little bit more body, the sake does. And it's made in Wakayama, so it's a little more south and on the other side of Japan. So the elements, the air are a little different, the water is a little different. Really, really gorgeous sake, but you'll taste slight differences in the two. Did I talk too much, Chef?
No, that's good, Kelly. Yeah, I think, as Kelly said, I think, the reason we both thought that this was a great pairing for this dish is kind of that a lot more earthiness to it. And, I think with the vegetables, the potatoes, the turnips, the cabbage, which has that really vegetal taste, especially when you steam it. And then also in the broth, we have that depth of flavor from the broth itself. And then a little bit of that ginger essence, which I think really plays well with the sake. So I think we got again, another great taste.
It's a lot heavier too on the tongue. Not heavier. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's it's velvet on your tongue, and you can actually feel it a little bit more than you could with the first pairing. So I think that's nice too. A little heft, a little weight to it.
Yeah. It's got that really velvety back palate, huh?
Yeah.
I love that.
It's very long lasting. So you take a sip and it just stays there. It's not permeating like a garlic, when it sits on you all day and then yesterday and then tomorrow and like, oh yeah, you had garlic. It's not like that. This is a very, very long and very pleasant finish. Beautiful.